Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Katelyn and thank you so much for joining. Today we are doing a different video and I'm hoping, cross my fingers, that I can keep this up throughout the year. But we are going to be doing a monthly reflection slash, I'm going to call it a reset just because I don't really know another word for it. But we're basically just going to reflect on all my goals from last month and talk about my goals for next month, how they all kind of intertwine with my overall goals, which if you missed that video, I will post it down below. I always talk about what my goals are for the year and like I share my vision board and just like the things that I'm like kind of focusing on for the year. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about my goals for the next month, like this month, February, and then I'm also going to talk about some of like my favorite things that I was having or that I had in the month of January, because a lot of people were asking that when I asked, I think at the beginning of this year, the end of last year, I said like, what do you guys want to see more of? And a lot of people were like, show us what you've liked throughout the months. So some months I might share a lot of things and some months I may share absolutely nothing because I just don't go through products that fast and I don't really go through different phases. Like I'm very much a creature of habit and I like what I like and I'll stick to it for like months and months and months. So anyways, today we're just gonna go through all my little things. This one might be a little bit sporadic and I feel like I'll probably revamp it as the time goes on and like hopefully it'll be very smooth and consistent in the following months, but for now this is how it is. Also, this video is heavily inspired on my friend Carter Sullivan. She has done these monthly resets forever and I always am just like drawn to watching them, and like hers are the best of the best. I don't know, like she just has a knack for like just speaking, and like she has the perfect videos where like you just like put them on and you'll just listen to everything she says, and like I'll clean my room or I'll like do dishes or whatever, like I'll just sit and watch. But anyways, she does them amazingly, so this is my little, you know, she's inspired me to make these this year, so we're going into it. But anyways, I want to make sure I give her a shout out, put her down below. You guys probably already know her, but anyways. Okay, so starting off with my goals for last month. So this was the first year, or this is the first year that I'm actually using I called it a bullet journal at the beginning of the year, but this is basically just gonna be my journal for the year. I started off last month with my, I made like a dashboard for everything that I wanted to like, you know, focus on for the month. Well, I'll put a picture up on the screen because I feel like it's not really focusing that well. But anyways, I just wanted to go over, I had 4 habits that I wanted to try and track for the month. I had little goals, and then I also like tracked my socials just to see kind of where they fell at the end of the year. I have no like social media goals for this year. If you watched my last video, I talked about how I kind of just want to like have fun with YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and everything. So I don't have any goals. I just like to track just to like see the difference. But anyways, my habit trackers for last month were water intake, using our Peloton, reading, and no phone after 9. And I feel like I did such a good job. And normally the way that I am with like, if I'm wanting to try and like create a habit, or if I want to like stick to a consistent routine of something, I'm very much like, I'm an all or nothing person. And this is something I've talked about with my therapist before, and or not before, we talk about this consistently in therapy, but instead of being like an all or nothing person, like accepting the fact that like some days you're not going to drink as much water as you should, or some days you're not going to work out on your Peloton, or some days you're not going to read, or maybe a few days you're not going to read in a row. But it's really nice because normally I would look at these these little charts and I would see the empty spaces and I'd be like, oh my god, like I am so irritated with myself. I can't believe I've missed out on this, and I can't believe I didn't do this week, or whatever. I missed 3 days in a row of using the bike. But like looking at it now, like I'm just like, oh wow, like I was able to like take 2 days off, and then I did 4 or 5, like I did like 7 days straight or something. So it's like, you know, it's just like, it's nice to look at, and I'm really happy with how it's been. I definitely wanted to read more last month than I did, and we'll get into it with the goals. But I feel like overall it's a good start to the month and I'm really happy. So my goals for last month, I wanted to read 3 books, which I did not do. I read 2 books, but I will say I read the first 2 books in the Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy, or yeah, it's a series, not really a trilogy, but anyways, I read the first 2 books, and those 2 books are hefty books. Like, I think the second book is like almost 600 pages, and then the third book is like 700 pages. So like, I'm saying like, no, technically I didn't read 3 books last month, but I read over, I think, like 700 and something pages. So overall, it was a win for me because I did read a lot. But did I read 3 books? No. I wanted to FaceTime or catch up with an old friend, which I did technically do. My friend Chris and I, we went to IKEA one day. We actually got all the little setup for this little corner, the chair and like cushions and stuff. And it was a really fun day. And like, it was kind of sporadic too. Like it was just like the day before I like texted her and I was like, hey, do you want to go to IKEA with me tomorrow? So normally I'm not like that. Normally I like to either have a very like strategic plan and it has to be like in days in advance and I have to make sure that I'm like in the mood to do it. But it was really fun and it was fun to go with her and hang out, and we just like really don't see each other that much anymore, which makes me so sad. But it's like, she's one of those friends that like time will pass and like nothing will change between us. So anyways, it was really fun to catch up with her. And then we also went to Brandon and Heidi's for a weekend, which I know technically doesn't count because they're not considered like an old friend, because like we talk to them all the time and like we see them often. So, but I did 2 different friend outings, which was really good for me. So I was happy with that. I wanted to journal daily, which I think I missed 2 days, but like in my journal, I filled out every single day in January. So like, I'm counting it as a yes because I have been so consistent with the journal, and like this is the longest I've been like consistent with a journal like this like ever. So I'm really happy with it. Yeah, loved it. Move my body daily, I said yes. I think there was maybe like 1 or 2 days where I didn't like do a workout necessarily, but I was still like closing my rings, you know, on my Apple Watch. So I'm counting it as a yes. But I really want to be back into the habit. Towards the end of this month, I was actually on my I'm still learning the phases. This is one of my goals for the year, is to learn all the different phases of your menstrual cycle. But I was on my period the last week of the month. So I was like doing bare minimum of like working out. I wasn't doing any like intense workouts. It was more just like walking around a little bit more and like getting up and like getting a little bit more movement in. But like, I want to get back into the swing of things now that that is over and I can like, you know, go back into like heavy intense workouts. So that's good. And my last goal was no eating out for lunches, which I did not do. I was actually pretty bad with this. I think I ate out like probably 5 or 6 times this month with lunches. So that is something I really want to work on for this month. Or sorry, last month, didn't do it. This month I really want to work on it. So yeah, that's basically it. So those are the goals for last month. And then I will talk about my goals for this month. So here is my little layout for the month of February, and I love this little spread. It looks so cute. Very pink and Valentine's. So my habit trackers for this month include the Peloton, reading again, journaling, and no spend. So like with the journal, like I didn't sit down and journal every single day. I would like go back and like maybe journal a day after it happened. So this month I really want to try and like actually sit down every day and journal. And no spend, I really want to try and like at least do like a low spend, because last month, like towards the end of the month, Austin and I like really went like, we were eating out a lot more again, and like I just want to get out of the habit, and like we would just go on like little random trips and like buy stuff, and I'm just like, okay, we don't need to do this, let's reel it back in. So I'm gonna try and do a no spend / low spend. So my goals for this month, I would like to read 4 books. So I know last month I said 3 books and I didn't meet it, but this month, actually I'm filming this on the 5th, and I've already read 2 books this month, so I feel like I can definitely achieve this. Again, last month was just big books. So anyways, I want to read 4 books this month. Again, I want to try and connect with an old friend. This is going to be consistent on my goals because in my like overall yearly goals, I want to connect with friends more in general. So every month I want to try and connect with somebody or like do something, go out somewhere, have somebody come over, like something like that. So it's gonna be consistent. I'm again putting no eating out for lunches, so we're sticking to it this time. I put in a goal as no phone after 9. I changed it from my habit tracker because I pretty consistently don't use my phone after 9, so I just kind of wanted to see if I could do it without like, you know, tracking it. And then I want to upload 3 times a week on TikTok for fun this month. So this first week is kind of like a half week, but I did upload 3 times on TikTok. So if you don't follow me on TikTok, you can go check them out. They're just like fun little videos. Sometimes they're like little daily vlogs. Sometimes they're like, I think I did like a pin mail video. And like one of them was like the journal with me. So yeah, they're just fun. And I like TikTok. I think it's fun. I think TikToks are really fun to make and I can consume them for a bit. The artistic ones, I could like just watch all day and I would feel fulfilled. But like when I'm scrolling on TikTok and just like finding like the stupid funny videos, it's like, okay, I need to like do something more productive with my time. So anyways, those are my goals for February. Now let's talk about some favorites. So first I'm going to talk about my playlist for last month. Actually, I'm going to go over some of the other things in my journal just so that I can kind of show you. So I have this spread. It's called A Year in Pixels, where basically I'm just like filling out every day with a pixel color and it'll just say like kind of how my day was overall. So I have great, good, neutral, sad, anxious, and angry, overwhelmed. And overall, January was a really good month for me. And I couldn't believe it because normally January is like the peak of like where I'm feeling super depressed, super anxious. Can't really get out of bed. But honestly, like majority, I'm looking at it, majority of it's in the good days. So I'm really happy about that. Yeah, so I really like this Year in Pixels. I think it's going to be really cool to like show going forward, like my year in review. Like I think it's going to be really cool to look at and see. And then also my reading log. I have my 2 books that I read so far in January, but Court of Thorns and Roses and Court of Mist and Fury, and I'm doing them based on a like star review, so that's how like the colors are coming into play. So Court of Thorns and Roses was a 4-star and A Court of Mist and Fury was a 5-star. Very good. And then on my highlight reel, I'm doing a picture every month, and I really like this so far, but I just like the idea so far and I'm excited to see it fill up. But in January, my favorite moment was when Austin and I went to the Leafs game, which was kind of just like fun and sporadic, and Austin got tickets last minute and it was just like a really fun thing for us to do. So I put that in my memories. Okay, so let's go into the favorites. So the only favorites that I'm really like tracking in my journal are my playlist, because I really want to try and listen to more music this year, because in high school I used to listen to so much music and like different music and like these random like indie artists, and like I would find all these cool songs and like I used to love that. But this year, or not this year, as I've gotten older, I just kind of like, again, I'm a creature of habit, and like I literally listen to Taylor Swift and Harry Styles, Disney music, and like musical theater. Like that's it. So I'm trying to find more artists to get into, and I know these are not indie artists, I totally understand that, but again, I'm just getting into newer artists. So my top 4 songs for last month were Doomsday by Lizzie McAlpine and Sailings by Lizzie McAlpine. Holy moly, this girl is so good. I think the reason that I love her so much is because I am so much more of a lyrics person versus like the music. I'm so much more of like a lyrics person versus like the music. So hold on, my dog wants in the door. Okay, Cooper is like super wet from being outside in the snow. He was covered in snowballs, so also just had to like wipe off all the snow, but he might be rolling around and making lots of noise on the bed, so I apologize if you hear him rolling around, but he's having the time of his life, so it's okay. Where was I? Oh, the reason I like Lizzie McAlpine so much is because I'm so much more of a lyrics person than a music person. That's where I was. And like she just writes these beautifully haunting lyrics, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, Like her music is just amazing. Like if you enjoy like Taylor Swift, like folklore Evermore era, highly recommend listening to Lizzie McAlpine if you haven't already. But yeah, Doomsday and Ceilings were like my top two, like frequently played. There's a bunch of other ones from her newest album that I was listening to all the time, but those were my two that I picked. Also, Gracie Abrams is another artist that I wanted to check out because I knew a lot of people who, again, enjoy Taylor Swift like her. And I really like her music overall. Feels Like is one of the ones that I put on my playlist this month, which is one that you probably have heard like all over TikTok. But it's very good. Again, I really like her like stuff. Like her stuff is kind of like sad, but like she has a good beat to it. So it like doesn't make it feel sad, but it's sad. But it's good. And then the other one that I put on is, okay, this is like kind of going back to like where I said I wasn't wanting to be this month, but it's Fine Line by Harry Styles. And like the only reason I put it on was because while I was reading A Court of Mist and Fury, which I will get into my favorite book, it'll segue. While I was reading A Court of Mist and Fury, I really wanted to like just be immersed in the world, and I like looked up like soundtracks or like scenescapes or like ambiance music or whatever, and a lot of the playlists that I found had Fine Line by Harry Styles on it, and I was just like that song mixed with like where I was in the book was just like, oh my gosh, like I was just in love. So I had to put it on my playlist for the month because I just loved it so much. Okay, so that's basically all for my journal. Now we'll just get into my like general favorites and things that I was enjoying for this month. So first things first, my favorite book of the month, I only read 2, I know, but my favorite was A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas. I annotated this book and oh my gosh, I just absolutely love this book so much. So if you've been following along on my Instagram, I tried reading A Court of Thorns and Roses like I think 2 years ago, and it was just like so hard for me to get into, and I'm like, I just can't get into this. So this year was the year that I decided, okay, I'm gonna read them all. I'm just gonna do it. I just sat down and I got through the first one, and I was like, okay, it actually ended up being pretty good towards the end. I was like, this is really good. I like it. And then everybody on TikTok and Instagram was saying, okay, Court of Mist and Fury is the best book. So I was like, okay, I'm nervous because everybody's hyping it up and I'm scared it's going to be overhyped and then I'm not going to like it and it's just going to be like the first one where it's like hard for me to get into. No. No. My first tab is, where is it? My first tab is 74 pages in, which like seems like it's like a lot of pages, but like in the grand scheme of how big this book is, it's really not that bad. But I just love this book. I don't know what else to say. I don't want to spoil anything. I mean, I know it's like been out for a really long time, but I don't want to spoil anything. But this was definitely just like my favorite book of the year. I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was amazing. Yeah, anyways, I just finished actually last night the 3rd book in the series. I was hoping to finish the 3rd book last month, but I did not. So anyways, here we are. That was my favorite book of the year. Book of the year. Book of the month. Now just random favorites that I've been loving. I tried the viral TikTok like bathrobe curls. I am not going to curl my hair any other way other than doing it this way now. I could not believe how well it worked. I'm going to film at least like a vlog or something at some point, and I'm sure I will do them in the vlog and I'll show you guys how I do them. But like these, like see how my hair is like curled right now? This is from 4 days ago. I did not touch it up. I haven't done anything. I've brushed through it a couple times, which normally if I brush through curls, they fall out. But this is just from the bathrobe and I can't believe it. This side is a little bit more flat, I will say. Like there's still some curl to it, but most of it's flat, but which is why it's tucked. But this side, amazing. Like 4 days, couldn't be happier. So like can't believe it. Those are like my favorite curls ever. I cannot, like, just love it. Love it. Another favorite that I have been, if you are into the gaming world, my little gamers out there, I have a very small collection of you, but you are here. I recently started playing Unpacking again, which is like a kind of puzzle slash just like cozy game. And I played this I think 2 years ago and I loved it. It was just like really cozy game to have on. It has really soothing music and basically you're just like unpacking, and every time you unpack, like a new story unfolds. And it's only one story, but so when you replay it, you already know the story. But when you're playing it for the first time through, it's just like so sweet and like really special and nice. So anyways, if any of my gamers are out there, Unpacking, if you haven't played it, it's a really good game. It's really, really, really cute. Even if you're not a gamer, I'd look into it. I think you can just get it on a random, like on just like regular like laptops or computers. I don't think you have to have like a gaming computer, but I could be wrong. But anyways. For movies and TV, I really didn't watch many things this month. I was really invested in like watching YouTube and watching like just like movies to fall asleep to. So like just kind of going over my favorites. Like we watched Peter Pan I think 3 times. I think we watched Harry Potter a bunch of times to fall asleep to. So those were like some of my favorites. But for like YouTube recently, I've really just been getting into watching a lot of booktubers. So Haley Pham is one that I like have watched for a really long time, and just like I always gravitate back towards her. Like I'll stop watching for a while and then I'll get back to watching her again. So Haley Pham's really good. And Sarah, I gotta say her last name right. Sarah Caroli is how I believe you say her last name. But again, she's amazing, really great booktuber. I really feel like me and her have similar book tastes. So whenever she says she really likes a book, I'm like instantly adding it to my list of books to read. So those two have been like my kind of like people I've been like running through all month. And yeah, I really enjoyed consuming more like booktube and everything. So yeah. Oh, and then I have like a random beauty favorite because I just like got some skincare stuff over the Christmas break and I've been using it all this month. And the Laneige I think lip sleeping mask or sleeping lip mask. Anyway, either way, it's the one in the pink bottle. That's the flavor or scent that I have, and I freaking love it. I put it on every single night before bed and my lips have never felt more like luxurious. I just love it. I love it so much. It's like very, very nice and it's a little expensive, I think, for what it is, but it's really nice. And I think if you can get like the little like travel sizes of them, I feel like those would last forever, because this one I've used it every single day and like I'm like liberal with how I use it, and it's like it's barely looks like it's even touched. So I feel like a really small one would last a really long time too. So yeah, but those are my favorites. I think next month, or this month technically, I guess, I'm going to try and like, sorry, don't mean to tuck my hair. I think for this month, the month of February, I'm gonna really try and like write down more of my favorites as I'm like liking them throughout the month, because this month I wasn't really planning on talking about favorites, but then I like remembered last minute. I was like, oh, you wanted to talk about favorites? And I'm like, shoot, I don't remember any of the things that I liked. So there wasn't a lot this month, but hopefully I can remember some of them for next month and we will chat about them then. But yeah, let me know some of your goals for this month. If you have any goals monthly, if you're doing them just based on the year, let me know down below. Let me know some of your favorites for the month and anything you think I should check out or read or watch or listen to. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.